Now, unions have agreed to meet with Air France management on Thursday to discuss their wage demands after several days of strikes. Pilots, cabin crew and ground staff have walked off the job after more than 7 years of salary freezes. On Tuesday, Air France doubled its offer of a pay increase to 2%. That is well below the 6% increase that unions are asking for. The airline is calling that demand unrealistic. Well, the strike has so far cost the company more than $200 million. Air France has had to cancel more than 30% of its flights worldwide. This walkout coincides with the strikes by workers at France's national rail operator SNCF. Its employees are protesting President Emmanuel Macron's changes to labour laws. Well, despite the travel disruptions, our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, has made it to the studio in Paris and joins us now. Craig, is there cause for optimism, then, that we're moving at least in the direction of a deal here?
Let's find out. Air France says, check our app. Oh, flight update. Air France call for strike. It's still going on, and it's going to continue April 17, 18, 23, and 24. This is bad news for travelers, because Air France will tell you it takes anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to get schedules back on track. The unions want a 6% pay raise. The management's offered them 2%. They're not talking. Air France is on strike. Welcome to springtime in Paris.
And what guarantees do we have, Craig, that even if a deal is struck, that this isn't likely to happen again?
Well, there are no guarantees. Look, state-owned enterprises like Air France, a large percentage which is owned by the government, are a yoke around Macron and his reforms. I mean, just take a look at that chart. You'll see minimum 15 major companies are controlled, shares are controlled by the state, and dozens of other smaller companies. Macron was elected to defenestrate the government of these properties, and he's trying to do it, but he's still lumbered with debt. I mean, look, Air France, they're losing more than about $209 million so far, according to my figures. And why? It's because Macron is speaking to the truth of power of the unions. People here are tired of them.
So what is it all doing politically for or to Emmanuel Macron, then, President Macron?
Well, Macron said today that, you know, he has to do things quietly and move forward. So he's working in the background. But, you know, historically in this country, the citizens have supported the unions. But what you're starting to hear now, because they're getting annoyed, the use of old-time French words like périgot, titis, troublon. Troublon is a really interesting French word because it means disturbers of the peace. These are old French words now that you hear, at least in Paris, among the intelligentsia who used to support the unions are now lumbering them with. And the unions now, what you're hearing is they don't like Emmanuel Macron's intellectualism. I know this might sound odd for our global audience, but French intellectualism is a very, very powerful thing in French society. And both Sarkozy and Hollande, the past two presidents of France, were not intellectuals. They thought they were men of the people. Macron clearly isn't. The unions don't like this, and Macron promises he's not going to back down because this is what he was elected to do.
So the unions have been offered 2%. They're asking for 6%. Where do you think, when the dust settles, what figure do you think we'll all agree on?
I have absolutely no idea, but what I can tell you for certain that we'll be back here at the table in, I think it's 2021, because this contract, whatever they agree upon, is only going to be for 3 years. And a contract in France has never prevented people from going on strike. These strikes are going to go through at least the end of June, according to the unions, and a lot of people here are saying, fine, let's get through this season, let's get these reforms done and modernize France.
So what is it about President Macron's changes to the labour laws, then, that is getting particularly the SNCF agitated?
Well, he wants to cut back on wages. He wants later retirements. He wants to do stuff with the pension funds. He's saying that the laws regarding workers who are fired are too much favor the worker and not management, that it costs management too much money to get rid of dead weight at any company. It's these kind of real core socialist ideals that are part, again, of the French system and have been around here for years, particularly with the train drivers who are considered heroes in this country for what they did for the resistance during World War II. And what Macron and the intellectual class who used to adore these people are saying now, you've lived off that legacy long enough. We've got to modernize. Again, look at that chart of companies. There's a lot of modernization that needs to go on here.
Well, Craig,
make America great again for France.
Hope you can get home safely. Craig Copetas, thank you.